Hi, I'm Thembi.
I'm Jonathan.
And today on How to Learn, we're going to be discussing how perfectionism affects learning.
And are you a perfectionist?
I may have taken a couple of takes to do this intro.
We weren't going to mention that. I'm going to say perfectionism isn't a quirky character trait. Well, it might be. But it is actually a barrier to learning.
Absolutely.
But why are we? I mean, we've all got perfectionist traits, haven't we? Or procrastination tendencies, which is related. Why? Why do we do this to ourselves?
I definitely think internal dialogue plays a key part in this.
And what are you saying to yourself?
Yeah, you're saying to yourself, oh, I need to get to this to the right point because it needs to land like this. But then I'm thinking, is that an element of control? Why don't you just let it go and let somebody feed into it? Or is it a fear of being judged?
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotions that come into this space.
I think there's multiple fears there.
Yes.
Being judged, fear of just getting feedback, which can be painful, fear of rejection, lack of confidence, or fear of just kind of not expressing it the way, not doing it justice and not expressing it the way that, you knew it could be as good as this, and it isn't yet. So you're just desperately hanging on until it's, and of course, while you're doing that, you're ignoring everything else you could be doing. There's an opportunity cost here.
Exactly. And it makes me think that when we're in a workplace environment and there's multiple people that are relying on whatever you're working on to get on with what they need to do.
Yes.
Is this where the perfectionism can become more of a negative trait because it can have an impact on other people? So sometimes let that briefing paper go to get other people to feed into that.
Because you're becoming a blocker. Other people are waiting for whatever it is that you're doing.
Exactly.
And if they're not waiting, get it out anyway. I think there's also a thing about making mistakes. So learning is often based around making mistakes, getting feedback, doing it better the next time. If you haven't actually talked about the thing you're doing or made the comment in the meeting, because you're formulating, how are you going to learn?
Yeah.
You're not making mistakes, so you're not learning. So you've got to let go.
You've got to let go. Because like you said, you mentioned feedback might be a reason why you don't want to release things. But remember our last podcast, we talked about feedback is actually a gift.
Absolutely.
Well, I believe it's a gift anyway.
Yeah, it is. It is. Sometimes it's one of those gifts that you sort of smile politely and possibly re-gift later on or donate to a charity shop. But yeah, I'm fully signed up to that. I've got some tips here.
We love tips.
Yeah, it's not 10. It's 3 or 4 tips on, how to get over the perfectionist tendency. So one is illuminate the scaffolding. So if you think of when you've got a sort of historic building lit up, the Parthenon or something lit up, and they try to light it so that it's not showing the scaffolding.
Yeah.
Turn that around. Just put the spotlights on the scaffolding. In other words, when you send something out, say you make a comment in a meeting, you say, look, I haven't thought this through fully, but... and then make the comment.
So how you position yourself.
Yeah, and just draw attention to this, admit and draw attention to the fact where you send something out for comments and you say, this is only 60% there, this is a rough draft, this is just a very early version of, I wanted to get your feedback. And so you take the pressure off yourself, you've drawn attention to the imperfect bit, and then you get, the feedback.
Like pilots.
Yeah, exactly.
Test and learn.
Test and learn. And that leads to the second one. You can reframe yourself. Instead of somebody who's been hanging on to something and then sort of reluctantly sent it out, reframe yourself as this sort of total quality ninja, this agile expert, and call it private beta, which is the jargon. You've got an alpha, private beta, public beta. So, you can sort of dress it up as a sort of project management expertise. And say, I'm not sending out a rough draft. I'm, launching the private beta phase.
So it's how you talk to yourself.
Yeah, you see yourself as an expert, and that and being imperfect is part of the expertise, which links to the next one, which is, you don't have to abandon your focus on high quality. All you're doing is saying, I'm going to achieve high quality through iterations. Through getting this out, getting other people to make it better for me.
Yes.
Point out where I've missed stuff, whatever it might be, add to it. So you're not abandoning the quest for the perfect.
No.
You're just doing it probably in the only feasible way to get something perfect, which is to get everybody else to help.
But then, is there such thing as perfect though? Because things just change all the time, isn't there? New versions come out, then you've got to update it because it no longer becomes perfect.
tune into the philosophical version of this podcast.
But I do love those tips because it is about how do you learn to curb that perfectionism within you. And these are really just useful tips to think about. So positioning something that this is 70% ready, go for it and get feedback.
Yeah.
Send out in draft.
Send out in draft. Doesn't have to be perfect. And if you can, define done in advance. We'll define that imperfect stage in advance so you know when you've reached it.
Yeah.
And you can tick all the boxes and say, brilliant, I'm at 60% now. All the boxes are ticked, it's going out. So there we are. So we're on our 23rd take of this podcast.
We are, and we're not going to edit it. And this is the raw take.
This is the second take.
Second take, but it is.
But not the 23rd.
Not the 23rd, but we're not going to edit any of this at all. We're just going to throw it out there and, let go.
Yeah, give us some comments.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Happy imperfect New Year.
New Year.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.